So, ito yung mga descriptions, meningeal branches. Small, they are small and supply the bone dura in the posterior cranial fossa. At times, hindi present ito. So, kumbaga parang negligible. Kaya lang, isinama nila ito as branches kasi tayo na ginakikita nila. Posterior spinal artery, again, we have discussed this blood vessels ng spine. So, may arise from the vertebral artery or the posterior inferior cerebral artery. Descends to the posterior surface of the spinal cord, close to the posterior roots of the spinal cord, and the branches are reinforced by the medullary arteries yung nasa harapan. Okay? Anterior spinal artery formed from the contributory branch of each vertebra near its termination and supplies two-thirds of the spinal cord. So we have also the posterior inferior cerebral artery. Kaya nasabi ko sa inyo, nakaka-aims itong subject nito. Parang ang hirap i-analyze. Lalo na pag sinabi, conclusion of the posterior inferior cerebral artery. What is the manifestation? Pipikit na lang ako, i-check ko na lang kung sino tatalaman ko, i-check ko bahala na. Ako na Diyos, pumasa naman. Pero, i-survive natin. I will not make it difficult for you. You are only first year. I will give you questions na sa tingin ko masasagot ninyo para pumasa kayo. Okay? But please do read it, analyze it. Kasi pagdating ng second year, third year, i-apply nito. Nga kayo, tatanong kayo kung sino lecturer ko, sasabihin ko, very proud pa si Dr. Malvarco. Okay, ibinigay ko na lahat na dapat yung malaman. It's here. Okay? So, again, I have given you this. Read on it. Understand it. Okay? Medullary arteries, blood supply of the medulla. And then the basilar artery, I have already lectured about this also. And these are the branches, pointing, labyrinthine, anterior, inferior, superior, cerebellar, and posterior cerebellar. I might give you questions regarding ito. What are the branches of the basilar artery? Isa doon, gagawin kung medyo malapit-lapit sa mga ito. Or basahin ninyo kung minsan may mga kwan may mga pattern akong ginagawa. Okay? It's part of testmanship, not purely memory. Okay?
Yeah, okay lang.
Circle of Willis. Nakuha niyo na ba ito? Naaral niyo na? Diba? Okay, this circle of Willis is almost a common sa halos lahat ng doctor. Favorite na tanongin ito. Okay? So, sa circle of Willis, it lies in the epigastric fossa, yung area na performed by anastomosis of the following. Tandaan nito. Isa lang among them ang walang apartment. Okay? Parang si Maris Rafael. So, there are two internal carotids, two vertebral arteries, andito sa baba, okay? Tapos, two anterior cerebral artery, two posterior cerebral artery, and only one anterior communicating artery. Memorize ko yan, alam nyo na yung circle of Willis. Okay? Ang flow niyan is of course coming from the internal carotid and the vertebral. Paakyat na. Pupunta sa middle cerebral, mag-branch yan na left, anterior, posterior, and middle. Diba? And from there, it supplies the entire brain. Ganun lang kadali. Gives of penetrating arteries to supply the inferior aspect of the thalamus of the brain. So arteries is two specific brain areas. Hinilagay ko lang dito para in any case mag-board exam kayo, balikan yung lecture ko, andyan na yung sagot. Okay? Kinuha ko yan sa book ninyo. So it's just nice to know for now, but I won't ask this anymore. Meningeal arteries. Kung titignan ninyo, this is the dura. Okay? Itong blue na ito is the sagittal sinus. So makikita niyo it is embedded in the dura. Okay? So in medial arteries, I think I have also discussed this. Supply of the intracranial dura usually arises from branches of the anterior meningeal artery, medial meningeal, at posterior meningeal artery. So the veins of the brain, majority, i-discuss ko mamaya itong sinuses. Kung paano ang flow niya pabalik sa heart. So it's devoid of valves and lying around the surface. Remember na ang veins ng neck down, okay, merong valves. Majority of the veins is surrounded by muscles. Bakit? At saka may valves. Bakit? Bakit dito sa brain walang valves? Ano ang purpose ng valves at saka muscles sa lower extremities? The valve, it prevents the backflow. How about the muscles surrounding the veins? Pansinin niyo, majority of the larger veins are being surrounded by muscles. Tandaan niyo, ang artery is pressure dependent. Tama? Ang vein is volume dependent. Hindi siya, wala siyang prominent na muscles surrounding the vessel. So, hindi siya makakapag-contract. Okay? So, yung muscles na surrounding it, okay? Pag naglakad ka, magko-contract. For example, the gastrocnemius. Tama? Pag naglakad ka, magko-contract yan. It squeezes the vein. So, ang nangyayari ngayon, yun ang propulsion ng dugo pabalik sa puso. Kung walang valve yun, babagsak na naman pabalik yung dugo. Doon nyo nakikita yung mga tinatawag natin varicose veins. Tama? Ang varicose veins, for example, ang diameter ng normal na vein, okay? Sabihin natin 5 mm, kama na lang. Tapos 2.5, tapos 2.5 yung valve niya. O sabihin mo ng 3 mm on the right, 3 mm on the left. So nagsasara yun. Tama? Sa mga varicosities, you're supposed to be na 5 mm na vein. Nagda-dilate kasi nga, volume dependent siya eh. So ang nangyayari ngayon, yung end ng valves, hindi na nagdidikit. So may backflow ng dugo pababa. So every time na maglalakad ka, especially sa superficial veins, hindi naman yan makukontract kasi walang laabing muscles yan. Karaniwan yan fats. And fats basically is just an insulation, it does not contract. So makikita ninyo yung varicosities, palagi ng palagi kasi it's volume dependent. Once na nagkaroon ng defect ng isa, eventually cascade yan, aapektuhan niyo yung smaller veins. Kasi nga, it will accommodate the increasing volume ng blood tungkol sa area niyo. So what do we do sa pasyente with varicosities? We advise them to wear elastic or compression stockings. Tama? Para yung functions ng muscle na supposed to be mag-compress. Externally, the compression stockings will compress it. At yung valves na will actually oppose. So may pabalik na naman sa puso yung valve. Samantalang dito, bakit ginawa ni Lord na walang valves? Hindi yan pagpupunang because gravity, pababa. Galing ni Lord, ano? E paano pag nakahiga? Tingnan ninyo mamaya yung drainage. Galing ni Lord, eh. Makikita ninyo, from the anterior, papunta sa likod. Tapos ang drainage nyo is pababa. So kung humiga ka, eventually, babagsak pa rin yung blood papunta sa internal jugular vein. Okay? Pababa yan, hanggang sa superior vein ng katawan. Okay? So, I don't know. Galing ni Lord, mag-isa na. So, terminating the neural sinuses. We will discuss the neural sinuses after a while. So, external cerebral veins, draining through the superior sagittal sinus, ito. And then, laceration of these vessels results in subdural hemorrhage. We will also discuss about hemorrhages. So, external cerebral veins. So, makikita ninyo ito, yung sinasabi ko na flow, pababa. This is the posterior side. Ito yung face ng pasyente. So, kung bumiga ang pasyente, yung drainage, pababa pa rin. So, superior cerebral veins, superficial middle cerebral veins, they drain in the cavernous sinus, yung nandito. Tapos, deep middle cerebral veins, drains the straight sinus. So, where's the straight sinus kayo? Deep cerebral veins, they drains into the following vessels, septal vein, thalassic straight vein. Ayun na, as this. Para sa pangulo residence ito, hindi para sa iyo. Okay? As long as you memorize the venous sinuses and its flow. So, cerebral vein of blood receives blood from the internal cerebral veins and drains to the straight sinus. Here are straight sinus. So, veins specific to brain areas. The midbrain open into the basal brain cerebral veins, the pons, the medulla, the cerebellum, they have designated veins with brain stem. And then, cerebral circulation. Ito may important dito. The blood supply of the brain is provided by the internal carotid and the vertebral arteries. Kagaya ng sinabi ko kanina. Together in the posterior communicating artery at the point where the pressure of the two is equal and they do not mix. Imagine ninyo, yung left and right they do not mix. Iisa lang ang dinadaanan nila. Pansinin niyo yung book ninyo, mas darker yung red sa left kesa sa right. Tama? Dito sa artery nito, dito pa lang, hindi na sila nag-mix. So committed, yung left is committed to the left, and the flow coming from the vertebral, it is committed naman dito from the right to the right. Okay? If, however, the internal cavity or vertebral artery is occluded, the blood passes forward or backward across that point. Kung meron lang occlusion, saka lang sila magko-compensate. Kaya nga tinawag nilang circle of Willis, parang rotonda yan. Pag sarado yung isa, pwede kang mag-access sa isang side. Kung baga, protective mechanism dito itong blood supply, itong circuit na to, for the brain to have enough blood supply. So pag pinarahan mo itong posterior communicating, pwede siyang umikot dito and then pabalik dito. At saka yung middle cerebral artery, pwede rin magbigay ng flow papunta dito. So the arterial silco also permits the blood flow across the midline from the internal cavity or vertebral artery on one side is affiliated. And sabi ko na kanina. It also has been shown that the two streams of blood from the vertebral arteries remain separate on the same side of the lumen of the basilar artery. They do not mix. So this is the basilar artery. So they do not mix. Although the cerebral arteries anastomose with one another at the circle of Willis, and by means of branches on the surface of the cerebral hemispheres, once they enter the brain substance, no further anastomosis occur. So, parang committed step it. Pag lumabas na sila dito sa circle of Willis, wala nang ibang tributaries. Kaya nga, pag na-occlude somewhere sa isang, for example, sa middle cerebral artery, walang supply ng part na yun. So, pag na-occlude yun, it will actually die. Okay? So, makikita yung manifestations. Unlike sa upper extremities, dito sa kamay, meron tayong ulnar at saka radial. Tama? Pag may mga patient akong naglalaslas dahil sa malis na okay? Pwede kung hindi ko mahanapan yung proximal distal, hindi natin mapagdikit. Kasi natuwa siya sa paglaslas, 3 beses niyang hiniwa ng different sides. At hindi mo mapagdikit, it is okay na i-ligate mo yung radial or yung ulnar, whichever is injured. And then once the patient is already okay, you can go back to the area. Mag-harvest ka na vein somewhere else, okay? Lesser sa venous, greater sa venous, balikan mo, tapos i-reconstruct mo yung blood vessel na yun. Pwede. Or during the surgery, i-clamp mo lang, proximal distal clamp, and then hanap ka ngayon ng donor cell ng pasyente. Usually, that's a venous veins ang pinukuha namin. And then, ita-transplant namin yun. And then, gagawa kami ngayon ng parang bridge. Okay? Graft ang tawag natin, vascular graft. So, paano namin nilalagay? Baliktad. Hindi namin gagayahin yung floor ng vein. Kasi meron siyang valve. Pag sinundan mo yung flow niya at yung pagkakalagay mo, definitely, hakarangan ng valve yung flow ng artery, hindi siya effective. Arterial blood pressure. Ito, importante ito sa physiology. Okay? So, the most important factor in forcing the blood through the brain is the arterial blood pressure. It is opposed by such factors as raised intracranial pressure, increased blood viscosity, and narrowing of the vascular diameter. So the cerebral blood flow remains remarkably constant despite changes in general blood pressure. So auto-regulation of the circulation is accomplished by number 1, compensatory lowering of the cerebral vascular resistance when the BP increases. So paano magkakaroon ng lowering of cerebral vascular resistance? What will happen? Vasodilatation or vasoconstriction? Dilatation. Tama. So pag bumuka siya, yung flow is mas madali. Ngayon, pag naman ang blood pressure is tumaas, ang chances is magkakaroon siya ng vasoconstriction. This auto-regulation does not maintain an adequate blood flow when the arterial blood pressure falls to a very low level. So diameter of cerebral blood vessels, the main factor contributing to the cerebrovascular resistance. If it contracts, increase ang resistance. If it dilates, lower ang resistance. While cerebral blood vessels are innervated by sympathetic postganglionic nerve fibers and respond to norepinephrine, they apparently play a no part in the control of cerebrovascular resistance in normal human beings. May sarili siyang auto-regulation. Compared sa neck down, they respond to norepinephrine. Pero sa brain, because of the blood-brain barrier. Okay? So, increase in carbon dioxide. Ito ang pinaka-powerful, okay, na influence on cerebral blood vessels. So, kung tumaas, reduction in oxygen concentration also causes vasodilatation. Pero don't be fooled, it's always the carbon dioxide ang driving force. Okay? Mas mababa yung reduction of oxygen. So arteries in the spinal cord, I have already discussed this. Naglagay ako ng ibang pictures after the sa end. It's also worthwhile na basahin nyo rin. So, medyo maganda kasi yung labeling na sa picture. You can use this for your references. Now let's talk about meninges. Na-lecture na sa iyo, hindi ba? Hindi ko ba na-touch ito nung nag-lecture ako sa fossa? Meron konti ano? Okay. The objectives are to describe the structures and function of the three meninges that surround the brain. Explain the role of venous sinuses within the skull and their structural relationship with the meninges and identify and analyze the connection between the meninges and the virus of the bridge. So, the meninges is the covering of the brain. Okay? So, there are three layers. We have the dura mater, paraploid mater, and pia mater. So, the dura mater has two layers. Ang dura mater, ito yung pinakamatibas na covering ng brain. So kahit na magbakbak, mag-infect ang skull ninyo, ililig ng bacteria sa infection, hindi ang papasok sa brain because of the dura matter. Okay? May mga patient kami na na-disgrasya, again, nakamotor, kasi helmet. Okay? So, magpapacheck up sa'yo after 2 weeks. Okay? Pupunta ng hospital na alauna ng madaling araw at sasabihin lang na masakit yung sugat at namamaga. Parang gusto kong kalkalin ng walang anesthesia. Parang hindi natutulog ng mga doctors. So, the first layer is the periosteal layer or endosteal layer. So, ito, ang description nito, kaya yung endosteal or periosteal, nakabilit yan sa skull, sa inner lining ng skull. So, throughout this skull, naka-cover yan, except yung mga foramens. Okay? Pagdating sa foramen, nag-stop sila, and then, i-cover nila palabas. So, hindi siya continuous dun sa dura ng spinal cord. Ang ganyan na yun. Continuous with the dura mater, not continuous with the dura mater ng spinal cord. So, at the suture lines, continuous pa rin yan. The suture lines, i-cover pa rin yan. Pero, nakakapag siya, naka-attach siya sa mga ligaments. Most strongly adherent to the bones over the base of the skull. So, the medial layer, ito yung dura proper. Ito talaga yung naka-cover sa brain. Okay? So, ito, lalabas ito sa mga foramen. I-cover niya yung spinal cord, pababa. I-cover niya yung nerves, and then eventually magiging epithelium of the nerve. Okay? So, ito talaga yung susunod sa kulma ng brain. This is how the dura mater looks like. Okay? So, kung titignan ninyo, di ba, ang sa layman, pag nagpapapanood sila, for example, si Frankenstein, napanood ko na siguro yun, no? Pinibang ganyan, tapos ipinatong yung brain, tapos sinara, tapos na. Di ba, ganon ang pagkaka-portrait, di ba? Na para bang isang buong brain lang pinatong mo, tapos kinomeran mo, tapos na. Ang tanong doon, kung kayo mga first year na nagbayad tayo, paano yung brain pag naumpog yung pasyente? Pag naumpog si Frankenstein, patay na naman si Frankenstein. Tama. Kasi durog yung brain. Di ba brain ang primary control CPU ng ating katawan, right? So, dito ngayon papasok yung meningeal septum. Ito ang itsura ng brain, ay ng cavity, ng skull natin. Pag nandyan yung mga septum ng brain. So, makikita nyo may sagittal na septum, meron yung cerebelli, may fat cerebelli. So, eto, ano ang function nila? Mapapansin niyo may hiwa dito, di ba? To be honest, until today, etong hiwang ito, hindi nyo ba inis, at hindi ba nag-wonder ang isipan niyo, ano ang purpose ng hiwang niya? Hindi natin, to be honest, hindi yung inisip na nakapalaman si Pandero, si Fox Cerebral. O alam nyo na. Okay, it's good. Alam nyo na kasi siyempre, first year na kayo. Pa-uuwiin ko kayo pag hindi nyo alam. So, ang purpose nito, yung septums na to, ang purpose nito is, of course, it divides the cavity into freely communicating spaces that address subdivisions of the brain to restrict displacement of the brain associated with acceleration and deceleration when the head is moved. Okay, ang analogy ko dyan is nakakakita kayo ng truck na malaki na petrol. Tama? Nag-wonder ba kayo, yung laman ba nun ay puro gasolina o merong barrier sa loob? Actually, 2 years ago po lang nalaman yun. Nung nag-lecture na ako dito. So, nag-search ako sa internet, ano ang composition, structure ng truck ng petrol sa loob. Nakita ko, may barrier yun, may butas sa gitna, may butas sa ilalim, may butas sa taas. Pag nagpreno ka, hinati-hati mo yung volume ng fluid. So yung potential energy na magbabacklash, tawag mo doon yung impact niya, liliit, bigger volume, higher pressure. Tama? Pansinin niyo, may hawak kayo timba, tapos bigla ka tatakbo kayo, bigla kang itigil, di ba? Mag-move yung timbang ganun, tapos matatapos, di ba? Pero pag hinati-hati mo, yung potential ng energy na yun, mas liliit. Yun ang purpose nito. So, imbes na yung isang buong brain, papalo doon sa side wall ng skull, makahati-hati yun, merong haharang doon sa pressure. Okay? So, yan ang purpose niya. In cases of traumatic brain injury, ito, palagi nyo maririnig ito sa surgery at sa neurosurgery. We have the coup and the contre-coup injury. Ang coup injury, nagmumotor, lasing, walang helmet, bumangga, okay? Tapos, nakita ninyo, siyempre, pag nakamotor, ang set lang, karaniwan is harap, tama. Sa CT scan lumabas, meron siyang brain contusion, meron siyang hemorrhage sa anterior cranial fossa. That's the coup injury. Ngayon, gano'n na naman, nagkaroon ng injury. Motor, lasing, walang helmet. Tumama itong left parietal niya. Sinitiskan ninyo, merong bleed sa left parietal, merong bleed sa right parietal. Sasabihin nung clerk, ay ito, pangulong-gulong yan. Kaya may dugo sa kabilang side. Siyempre, you guys knowing yung principle ng coup at saka contre-coup injury. Yung parang basketball, kung gano'n palakas ang dribble mo pababa, yun din ang recoil ng bola. So kung malakas yung impact dito, pag nag-recoil sa kabila, the same pressure. So magkakaroon ngayon ng bleeding. Either sa gitna, sa fat cerebelli, lalo na kung pinag-usapan is itong lateral side, okay? Either sa medial side ng fat cerebelli or sa mismong skull ang bleeding. Depende kung ano yung mapupunit ng blood vessel. Okay? So yan ang isa sa mga clinical correlation ng presence ng fat cerebelli. So fat cerebelli. Fat cerebelli, makikita ninyo, ito ang fat cerebelli. Hindi siya hanggang dito sa baba. Okay, makikita nyo, just above the cingulate gyrus, ang kanyang occupation. Makikita mo dito, ito yung sagittal sinus, and then ito yung smaller na sinus. Okay? So it lies within the cerebral hemisphere in the longitudinal cerebral fissure. It divides the brain to left and right. Tapos, it serves to limit excessive movement of the brain within the skull. Yung left to right na movement. Ito, clinical relevance. Although it has an advantage, meron pa rin siyang disadvantage. Wala ito sa slide yun. The disadvantage naman is, kung nagkaroon ka ng swelling ng brain, itinutulak ng swelling ng brain pataas, ihiwain naman ngayon ni fat cerebelli yung brain. So for example, meron kang bleeding somewhere down, okay, that's sa fat cerebelli area, itutulak mo yung brain pataas. So since very tough itong fat cerebelli na to, any substance of the brain that is going to be pushed dito sa inferior border ng fat cerebelli, masasaktan. So magkakaroon ka rin injury. Subfalcine herniation, mababasa nito sa mga CT scan. So a type of brain herniation where brain tissues is displaced under the fat cerebelli. So halos parang same din sa traumatic brain injury, kaya ito may coming from other cause. Also meningiomas. Pag may tumubo doon sa either side ng fat cerebelli, it causes pressure doon sa medial surface ng brain. So kung ano yung tinamaan, knowing yung distribution ng motor functions ng brain sa cortical area, yun ang mag-manifest. Okay? So we also have the tentorium cerebelli, the green part sa baba. So ang trabaho nito, it separates the brain from the cerebellum, and then the temporal and occipital lobes. So, ang pa naman ito, it limits the movement ng superior at saka inferior movement ng brain. Okay? Cerebellum. So, a small sickle-shaped fold of the dural matter attached to the internal occipital crest projects forward between the two cerebellar hemispheres. Kung meron tayong falx cerebri, meron tayong falx cerebelli, which bisects the cerebellum from the left and right. Okay? Ayun, mali na yun. So, its posterior fixed margin contains the occipital sinus. So, clinical relevance at same doon sa sinabi ko kanina, tentorial herniations, brain tumors, and hydrocephalus. So, next is the diaphragm macella. Forms the roof of the hypophyseal fossa. Okay? Actually, it forms the roof ng pituitary gland natin. So, function protection acts as a barrier protecting the pituitary gland from structures above, including CSF, in the subparietal space. Helps stabilize the position of the pituitary gland and prevent its displacement. So, clinical relevance, pituitary tumor. So, adenomas can expand and press against the macella, halos the same din sa mga principle na sinabi ko kanina sa falx cerebri. Empty-cella syndrome. Yung CSF, it fills the space. So pag nag-CT scan, parang walang pituitary gland. Pero meron. Okay, trauma or surgery on these areas. Sa surgery ng pituitary gland, saan ba sa tingin nyo ang kanilang approach? Nakapagpasan ba kayo, naka-rating na kayo? Paano yung operahan ang pituitary gland? Magbubukas ba sila ng bibiyak ba dito? Paano? Paano? Mas gross naman yung imagination nito. Sa mata daw. Actually, maniwala kayo hindi sa ilong namin pinapadaan. So, yung mga malalaking ilong dyan, medyo may advantage kayo. Okay? So, dito na may makikita ninyo, approach nila dito, transsphenoidal. Di ba saan ka nalalagay ng spina? Sa medyo baba, right? Okay? So, doon pinakadaan, and then susunkitin na nila ang gagaling ng mga neurosurgeons. Okay? Minimal invasive ang surgery ng pituitary. So, arterial supply of the dura, we have the internal carotid, maxillary, ascending pharyngeal, occipital, and the vertebral arteries. Middle laryngeal artery is the most common area na napupunit dahil, na-lecture ko na ito, pag may trauma kayo sa may temporal o parietal area, bakit napupunit palagi sa middle laryngeal artery? Therion, because the therion is the thinnest part of the skull. Tama? So, venous drainage of the dura, they will all drain sa mga venous sinuses. I will be discussing this now. Nerve supply to the dura, we have the branches of the trigeminal vagus nerve in the first three cervical spinal nerves and branches from the sympathetic nerve. Ano ang unang-unang manifestation kung pasyente ay dehydrated? Masakit ang ulo. Tama. Isa sa mga mapapansin niya, masakit ang ulo. Sino mga nurses dito? Nurses? Nurses? Anong unang-unang pinapa-monitor sa akin pag ang pasyente ay dehydrated? Pedya. Newborn. Sunken fontanelle. Tama. So it will really manifest. Ang unang-unang mag-manifest is brain. So in any case na mayroong movement o changes ng pressure, pag-manifest yan as headache. So makikita niyo dito, stimulation of the sensory endings of the trigeminal nerve above the level of the dentorium cerebelli produces referred pain into the area of the spine at the same side of the head. Pag below naman, ng territorial cerebelli on the nape. So, mapapansin nyo, kung minsan, ang pasyente mag-complain, ang complaint nila is dito. Or minsan, dito. Okay? Huwag nyo naman automatically sasabihin na dehydrated. Okay? Look at other factors. Dural venous sinuses. Okay, situated between the layers of the dura mater. Ang galing ng pagkakadesign, ano? It is in between the dura mater. Since the dura mater is a very tough structure, chances of tearing a very small, a very thin wall, friable vessels is minimal. Tama? Kasi nga, protektado siya in between the dura. And the dura is the strongest ovary of the brain. So, they are neither endothelial and their walls are thick but devoid of muscular tissue. We have no valves. Ito yung tinatanong ko kanina. Emisaric veins which are also valveless connects the dura venous sinuses with the diclonic veins of the skull and with the veins of the skull. Alam niyo ba na ang blood vessel sa skull natin nagtatraverse yan through the skull na kapunta doon sa venous sinuses? So, ang pasyente pag nagkaroon ng infection sa skull o umabot sa bones ng skull, pwedeng umabot yan sa brain. Di ba, marami siya sinasabi natin, hindi aabot yan dahil may dura. Very strong ang protection ng dura against infection. Pero merong veins, okay, na nagtatraverse through that. Mamaya i-discuss ko yan. Yung emissary veins, pansinin nyo. This is the skull, this is the bone. So there are small vessels that drains into the sagittal sinuses. Tama? So any infection, kahit na very strong ang dura ng pasyente, okay, pwedeng pumasok yan through these sinuses. Para sa cavernous sinus din, nagbiga ka ng pimple na may nana, tapos eventually nagtumatos yung pasyente may meningitis. Okay? Nagkaroon siya ng cavernous sinus thrombosis or infection. So, hindi naman palagi, but still, there is a chance of infection. So, ito na superior sagittal sinus. Occupies the upper fixed border of the vas cerebri, and it begins anteriorly at the foramen septum, where it occasionally sits vein from the nasal cavity, and it runs posteriorly during the ball of the skull. So, palikod. So, from here, papunta dun sa likod. Okay? The sinus communicates through small openings with 2 or 3 irregularly shaped venous lacunae on each side. So, numerous carotid villi and granulations project into the lacunae, which also receives diploid and meningeal veins. So, yung mga carotid villi na to, na nakikita dito sa mga granulation projections, they are the ones who are absorbing the C++ back into the vein. Inferior sagittal sinus. Although, so, occupies free lower margin of the vas cerebri. It runs backward and joins the great cerebral vein, and then eventually it goes into the straight sinus. Occupies the line of junction of the vas cerebri with the territorium cerebelli. Also, we have the transverse sinus, formed by the union of the inferior sagittal sinus with the great cerebral vein. Sigmoid sinus, occipital sinus, pasahin na lang nyo yan, and then cavernous sinus. Ito yung drainage na sinasabi ko. Ito yung venous drainage ng vein. So you can see the superior sagittal sinus, eventually it will drain into the confluence of the sinus. Ito. The inferior sagittal sinus, it goes into the straight sinus and then the confluence of sinus and then goes down. Cavernous sinus, yung nandito sa gitna, It has a superior and inferior, okay? Superior and inferior sinus, pericostal sinus, and then the superior goes to the transverse sinus, it goes to the sigmoid sinus, and then intravenous vein and superior vein. So makikita ninyo, they will all join, eventually drain into the intravenous. So superior sagittal sinus, it goes to the confluence, okay, pababa yan. So, ito ng inferior sagittal sinus, papunta dito sa straight sinus, confluence, pababa. Superior, pababa. Inferior, didiretso na siya sa intravenous vein, and then superior na baba. Now let's go to the arachnoid matter. It's a delicate, impermeable, non-vascular connective tissue membrane between the dura mater and the pia mater. So pia mater is basically the one that is attached sa brain. Okay. Separated from the dura by a potential space, the subdural space filled with fluid. It separates from the pia by the subarachnoid space which is filled with the CSF. So dito natin makikita ang cerebrospinal fluid. Subarachnoid space. So, in any case na may bleeding, for example, intracerebral bleeding, pag tinusok mo nag-spinal tap ka, tapos may dugo, saan ang cause ng bleeding? Saan ang gagaling? Yung mga anesthesiologists, nag-lumbar tap sila, tapos meron silang nakuhang blood tissue o CSF. Saan sa tingin nyo galing yung bleeding? Sa arachnoid yan, ano ba ang pinaka-vascular part ng brain? Ay ng dura? Ay ng meninges? Pia mater. Ayun mo. Kasi yung mga blood vessels, pero sobrang po yung dura. Ayun yung mga blood vessels. So kung meron kayong blood coming from the CSF, okay? Tapos you are thinking that there is a bleeding somewhere down there, lalo na pag CT scan na nakita ang blood. Suspect of bleeding coming from that subarachnoid space. Yung blood vessel is a bleeding vessel coming from the pia mater. Gusto niyo na gano'n tanong sa exam? May 5 akong binigay na gano'n. 25 naman yung binigay ko, basically. Para naman hindi naman perfect. So, arachnoid granulations, aggregation of accumulation of arachnoid villi, they are the ones who absorb the CSF. So, they absorb the CSF one-way valve yan. From the arachnoid, papasok sila sa sinuses, and then yung fluid that absorbed will be drained into the sinuses. Okay? Enters the venous dural sinuses and facilitates one-way flow of CSF, found in large numbers along the superior sagittal sinus but are associated with all dural sinuses, site where the CSF diffuses into the bloodstream. And lastly, the pia mater. The pia mater is the thinnest layer and is the most vascular. It is closely invested sa brain. Yung isa kanina, yung sa ngayon, yung sa may skull, periostral layer. Okay? Cerebral arteries entering the substance of the brain carry a sheet of pia mater with them. And the pia mater from the tetrachoroidea, the roof of the third, fourth ventricle in the brain, and it fuses with the ependyma to form the choroid plexuses. And these are the ones who are producing the CSF. Okay? So, intracranial hemorrhage, most of the time, makikita ninyo sa CT scan, epidural limb, subdural limb, or subarachnoid limb. So, look at the features. Makikita ninyo dito sa epidural hematoma, may purpose yan kung bakit red at saka blue. Epidural hematoma, parang mo yung arterial ang cause. And then the subdural hematoma usually is venous ang cause. Okay? So, ito ang difference nila. Epidural versus subdural. Pag tinanong mo sa exam, convex, pinakita ninyo, ano ang possible cause? Subdural, epidural. Ano bang convex niyan sa concave? Pag convex, paano tsura ng convex? Pabutis, tama. Concave, gutom. Tama. So sa tingin niyo, sino ang convex at concave dyan? Pag pabuntis na yan, that's the epidural. Okay? Kasi galing sa loob yung yung itong subdural. So ito ang concave. Okay? Involved vessels, yan, yung karaniwan is the middle artery. Okay? So sa frontal locus, anterior ethmoidal artery. Occipital area, transverse or sigmoid sinuses. So makikita nyo ba yung vein tatama. Vertex locus, superior sagittal sinus. Now, ito naman sa subdural, bridging veins. So makikita nyo bridging veins. Karaniwan ito yung shearing movement sa acceleration injury. Di ba ang brain pag naumpog, mag-move yan. So yung mga bridging veins, pwede mapulog yun. So since ang subdural hemorrhage ay masyadong mabagal kasi venous ang bleeding, ang manifestation ng pasyente, nakita niyo, gising niya. Masakit ang ulo, gising, paulit-ulit na pinakomplain ako, masakit ang ulo. Naumpong ako last week. Pinasitiskan mo, merong dugo. Etong epidural, hindi. Gising ngayon, patay ng gabi. So once na-diagnose yung epidural, automatically refer the patient to a neurosurgeon or a general surgeon, bubuksan namin ito emergency. Now, ano ang threshold? Na lecture ko na sa inyo ang Glasgow Coma Scale. Tama? Ang threshold namin, ang pinaka-best is 12. Critical 8 to 12. And then usually, pag 7 pababa, weak no, and shit. Okay? Meron ako sa nakita ko ba ito? May mga boss ako lagi. Glasgow Coma 3. Pinausap niya yung family. Palagi gano'n. Sabi niya, in 3 days, a patient will walk. Anong kagaling mo sa bubuksan natin yan, kaya Glasgow Coma 3. In 3 days, the patient will walk. Hindi naman niya sinabi kung walk to the relatives to walk to the most of the all of the time, Glasgow Coma pababa, 7 pababa, walk with God yung pasyente. Pero ang sinasabi naman niya, pag nag-conference kami, kahit kasi nag-opera kami, after the operation, every Monday, okay, meron kami tinatawag ang post-operative or yung morbidity mortality conference. Doon talagang kakaignin ka ng buhay. So kahit hindi ako ang nag-opera, bilang the chief resident, ako magpe-present kung ginawa ng doktor. So sasabihin ko ngayon, the patient is Glasgow Coma 3. Sasabihin ko, tatlo yung operahan. Ano ba ang survivability ng Glasgow Coma 3? Sasabihin mo, 1% po daw. Totoo ba yan? Yes, daw. Patient sa libro. Bakit kayo operahan? Hindi naman pwede sabihin, sagutin ko nga. Hindi naman pwede. Kasi pagagalitan ka eh. So you just have to defend it. Ang palagi kong sinasabi is that 1% chance is better than none. Alam niyo sinasabi ng mga boss ko nagtatanong sa conference? Bullshit! You just have to struggle. Sa surgery, bibigyan ko kayo ng kaunting heads up. Yung mga gusto mag-surgery, basically it's a head. I've never heard an overflowing mura of coming from the consultants every day. So, kailangan makapal ang kami ng pag-training ko ng surgery. And that's for 5 years. So, kung mga tipong kayo yung mga teacher's pet, you try to determine how to be a teacher's pet when you go to surgery. Kasi kung hindi, lalo na kung hindi ka nag-aaral, kakainin kayo buhay. Dito, pag pinagalitan natin kayo, masusunod kayo ay din, ano? Sa surgery, hindi. Dalawa lang choice mo. You surviving or you quit. Okay? Araw-araw yan. Lalo na pag-conference, hindi mo na alam ang gagawin mo. Pero darating ang time, makapal na mukha mo, tatawa-tawa ka na, oh, yes sir, yes sir. Yes sir, thank you sir. Thank you for the insight. Ay, purong-purang kanirinig ko, sasabi, thank you for the insight sir. Next time you want to do it sir. Nakalayo na tayo. Ayan. O concave, subdural, tama? Convex, epidural. Tama ba yun? Pinag-usapan natin kanina. And then breaching veins and source with the medial artery pag sa may lateral. And then elderly, karaniwan sa alcoholics. Okay? And then, ito yung lucid interval. Parang yung mga babaeng may mens. Alam mo yung ibig sabihin ng lucid interval? May mga situation na maayos silang kausap. Tama. Pero pag may mens sa babae, most of the time, parang may epidural hematoma. Hindi mo maintindihan kung ano sinasabi, hindi mo ma-gets kung anong gusto nilang mangyari. Tama ba, guys? Okay. So, lucid interval, ito mga subdural hematoma, nakakausap din ng matino ito. Kasi nagko-compensate, and at the same time, yung pressure, di ba sinasabi ko sa inyo, yung pressure ng vein is, it's volume dependent. Pag dumating dun sa point na hindi niya na kaya yung pressure, it will stop. Of course, meron din normal clotting mechanism pa siya. So when it clots, it stops. However, ang epidural kasi, it will not stop. Ano bang BP natin? 120/80. Tama? Unless ma-maintain mo ang pressure, okay, higher than 80, okay, titigil yung bleeding. Pero ang tanong, di ba ang brain is parang gel-like? Susunod yan sa pressure. Ano ba ang pressure sa brain? Normal na brain pressure. May discuss natin. It is less than 120/80 millimeters mercury. So, ang nangyayari, hanggang hindi nagkaklat yung blood, tuloy-tuloy ang bleeding. Pansinin niyo yan. May mga pasyente na kami na umaabot hanggang dito sa midline. Dumidikit sa facts cerebri. Okay? Tapos tumitigil ang paghinga dahil sa confirmation. Kasi tutulak niya yung brain pababa. Tama? So, excessive brain movements. When a patient head is suddenly altered, the momentum of the brain causes it to travel onwards until the movement is resisted by the skull or the strong septa of the dura mater. Discuss ko, a lateral movement of the lateral surface of one hemisphere hits the side of the skull and the middle surface opposite hemisphere hits the axe. Cerebri, pag-lateral na movement. Superior movements, ang trabaho naman ito, si facts cerebri. It will resist it. Movement of the brain relative to the skull and dural septa may seriously injure the cranial nerves. Okay? That has bettered as they pass through the various foramina. Hindi masyadong mahaba ang liway ng mga cranial nerves. Kasi pag napasok sila sa brain, tapos yung upward movement nila, ang hatakin nila from the floor of the skull. Tama? So, it can cause shearing or tearing effect. So, pag may mga injuries ang pasyente, may mga bleeding, for example, or brain protrusion coming from the injury, meron silang cranial nerve manifestations. So, from there, pag maganda na ito yung itutulong ng Dr. Madam sa inyo on how to examine a patient, a neuro patient. Okay? So, madaling mag-diagnose pag na-master nito yung mga maneuvers at yung mga cranial nerves. Okay? Good luck sa inyo. We're done. So, yung pinakamadaling part na yung last